Person 81, so your energy manifests onto the rainbow road and you're a caterpillar. And it's one of those like beautiful green caterpillars, and it's a real caterpillar. And you're moving really slowly on like a grassy kind of road. And all of a sudden there's this huge vision of the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland as like this misty kind of cloud that comes up and starts yelling at the caterpillar on the floor like, "Who are you?" and just keeps repeating that, "Who are you?" And so instantly I'm pulled to, okay, these are two forms of the same thing but different. And so I'm instantly pulled to like a ego brain, like a left brain, because it's that, I don't know, it just felt very like there's a duality, there's a similarity but difference, and that's just kind of where it pulled me to. So then I see Alice come on the road, and now Alice is your energy. Alice kind of banishes the ego brain that's asking, "Who are you?" and picks up the real caterpillar that's walking on the ground. And I get right here at this point that we're rewriting a story, and so this was powerful. This came through. I felt like there was meaning behind it, like you have the ability to rewrite your story type of a thing. And so like we're creating a new movie here from Alice in Wonderland is what I was getting. And so she picks up the caterpillar and puts it on her right shoulder, and the caterpillar grabs onto her ear and forms I think it's called a chrysalis, or whatever that cocoon thing is that the caterpillar makes before it turns into a butterfly, and it's hanging on the right ear, and it's going through these stages. And so she's sitting there for a long time, of course, waiting for the butterfly to come out. And so just a side note, I would say that there's something you're probably clairaudient in your right ear. So just for future, if you move into this work, but that's probably where you get a sense of hearing from. And then, so finally the butterfly starts to emerge. And as the butterfly comes out, it basically grabs Alice and it starts flying up towards the sun. So it's holding Alice upside down and it's flying up into the sun. And basically the butterfly and Alice move into the sun together. And so anytime I get sun, it's always solar plexus, which is like transformation, and it does have to do with ego a lot of the times, which is interesting. And so from here, then Alice and the butterfly merge into one creature. And so now Alice has like butterfly wings and those two little feelers at the top of the head, antenna or whatever they're called. And so she settles down back on the rainbow road, and here then I'm pulled into Alice's brain. So now everything, all the energy's inside the brain, and I see like the left brain, I see like little people that represent the left side of the brain, and I see little people that represent the right side of the brain. And I see this total internal war going on. And I see the left side screaming at the right side, and I see there's dysfunction. And so I get sent this knowing that, or understanding that if you were to analyze your life right now, so our external world tends to mirror our internal world, and the external world is supposed to be basically a stage in which our internal world is kind of playing out for us to know and see and perceive from. And so I would have to make an analysis that if you were to look at your external world, you're probably dealing with a lot of things that feel kind of bipolar, where maybe one day the energy is awesome, and then the next day in that same situation the energy is really crazy and it's weird and doesn't feel right and doesn't feel connected, or even people where you deal with somebody one day and they're one way, and you deal with them the next day and they're just a totally kind of crazy version of themselves. So taking that bipolar description and applying it kind of to the life that you're perceiving around you at this point in time. And from here, then I see, we go back in your brain, and there's now this golden figure 8 that's lying horizontally, and the bubble of the one side touches the left hemisphere, and the bubble of the right side touches the other hemisphere. And basically this golden light is moving and pulling everything into that middle still point. And so from here, I get a way to balance this energy within you, and they're showing me the lines, the grounding lines. So in a meditation, I'll pull through the 3 lines of the matrix. There's one that's vertical and goes straight down from the head out through the groin into the earth, and then there's another one that comes from the left side of the body out the right side. And what they were showing me is that there's a masculine energy, and it moves, let's just say, through the third eye, or through the back or the crown of the head, out through the third eye, and it touches that middle still point where the middle of the figure 8 is inside the brain. And then there's another line that moves from heaven to earth, and this is the feminine energy, and this is the feminine line. And so they were telling me, quite like how men and women operate, these lines are also kind of operating in the same way. And the vertical line from heaven to earth, they were showing me that a way to balance yourself is to see these 2 lines of energy moving almost like a cross, and the cross meets right in the center of your brain at that still point. And so when you pull down heaven and you pull up earth and it meets in the still point, you get heaven on earth. And then when you pull the other line horizontally from the left side and going out the right side of the brain, connecting in that center of the brain, basically it's like a masculine version of time space, right? So the future and the past, and when you bring the future and the past to meet in that center still point, you get the present. So it's almost like creating heaven on earth in your present moment. And they said this is going to help, this kind of visual, if you can run this visual every day, it'll help to balance out the energies between the left and the right brain. And so also like drawing that golden figure 8 in the middle of the brain, and then watching these lines of energy that move up and down through the middle of the body, and then left and right, and connecting in the brain, like pulling all these energies together, and allowing that still point, which is that very center point, to happen and create your heaven on earth in the present moment. And then the figure 8 helps to balance that in all aspects of your left and right brain, which is in all aspects of your life. And so they were showing me this and telling me this, and said this was going to be a good visualization for you. And then from here, they brought up a mirror in front of this Alice butterfly, and Alice then proceeded to move through the mirror, and as she moved out the other side of the mirror, it was like she was in like fantasy land. It was like very playful. There was like trees that were walking, there were like fairies, there were like, it was just like super imagination energy. And so the fact that I'm getting that the reflection of you, or when you move through the mirror, which is like a reflection of the state, almost like this is the goal, or this is what your energy is, like this very right brain, very playful, very imaginative energy. And what I'm getting is that there's possibly a need to move this and connect this energy into the other, into the right brain, or into the other parts of your life. From here, the energy, you then go move through the portal, and the portal is usually represented by like a door, a frame of a door. And so as you get to the frame of the door, you actually start lacquering the door, either like polishing it, and anybody who polishes a door knows that that is like a really excruciating job, because you have to put a ton of the lacquer, the polish, to get it the way you want. And so I see you do this, and then you basically like run through the door, and you do like cannonball into the water below. And so anytime it's caught by water, not land, I'm thinking sacral chakra energy, which is again playful energy, and you turn into a mermaid instantly, and you start swimming around, and you're swimming around for probably like 5 minutes. In my head, I can't get you to stop swimming around as a mermaid. And basically I'm just getting represented that this is like you in this playful energy. And so I'm being pulled back now to the door jamb, because I'm questioning what was that, and I'm getting this dynamic between work and play. And so I'm getting that, so there could be 2 things. The really easy interpretation would maybe be that you're playing too much and not putting enough energy into work. But from the energy of the entire reading, I would get that maybe you're more divinely aligned to the right brain, and to this to the, the arts and the imagination and the playfulness. And so that's what you connect more into. And so the goal is now to bring that into the left brain, or bring that into work, right? So into that left brain mentality. And so how do we connect more all of this playfulness that you have and get it to harmonize and be a consistent, so that you don't have these separations of what you consider play and then what you consider work. And so how do we harmonize your body into one still point where you're always living heaven on earth, in the present moment? And so I see you then get up, and you now from the mermaid you like go up on these floating steps, and you turn into a human, and there's this like fish bowl that holds your Akashic records. So you like climb over this round fish bowl and into the fish bowl, and you turn into a mermaid again. And so I'm getting mermaid playfulness, but you're just still, you can't move because your Akashic records are almost filling the entire inside of the fish bowl, and so you can't swim around anymore. So it's almost like you're trapped. And I get this feeling like you're being examined or you're being watched. You feel trapped. And so maybe these are the feelings that you feel in like that dynamic of left and right brain. Like your authentic self is very playful and imaginative and like artsy and all of that right brain stuff. But when you have to engage in left brain, I'm getting that there's this feeling of like trapped and feeling examined and scrutinized, and almost like you're like somebody's pet, like you're having to do things a certain way. I'm not sure. And so then you move into the records, and as you do, it opens up to this huge ballroom, and you're just dancing and floating, and like freedom is like what I feel. And so and I get now that this is happening because you're out of the watchful eye of that fishbowl, whoever was watching you inside that fishbowl. So as soon as you moved inside that castle, like they couldn't see you anymore, and you became free again, and you started playing and dancing around and allowing this energy to be let out. And so I call down your higher self. And this is really interesting because your higher self comes down as the form of one of those brown plush toy bears that have the wooden faces, and I think these are like highly collectible bears, and I think they're really expensive too. I don't know the name. My mom wouldn't know the name of this. I don't know the name of these things. And so it comes down in that, and it was weird. It came down looking like that, and it was really interesting because the whole time I do this process, I say your name repeatedly over and over to keep a connection with your energy, and your last name kept changing to Brown. So every time I'd say your first name, your middle name, and then I'd say Brown as your last name, and then I'm like, no, that's not the last name. This is the last name. So I'd have to constantly correct myself. Like every 5 times that I said your name, your last name would change to Brown. So I'm not sure if that has any meaning there or with this bear. I'm not even sure. So then your higher self, I ask your higher self what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time. And they basically said that you need to find a way to align this energy. It was basically just a confirmation of everything that's already been said, that you need to find a way to align yourself to be connecting this energy that is divinely and uniquely you into every aspect and every area of your life. And you can't be two people. They basically said, and they were showing me that when somebody, and they were actually showing me my life where I did a lot of solar plexus work, healing myself in that area, and I had almost created so many personas of myself. I was a spiritual, it's like the archetypes. I was a spiritual person. I was an independent woman. I was a mother. I was a wife. You create so many different versions of yourself, and you play out the energy that version requires. And so they were showing me how hard it is when you start to separate yourself in different energies. And I'm getting, again, work and play. Like I get that you're one person at work and one person when you're playing. And so they were showing me how hard it is to merge those again. And almost like peel back the layers of the onion to get to what the core of you is. And my understanding is the core of you is this playful, imaginative person. And what they're asking, I think, is for you to continue to be that person in every aspect of your life, and to not maybe this like scrutinizing or this, I feel like it was almost like this overseeing force over that fishbowl. Like whoever that is for you, you can't worry about what they're going to think of you. You have to be yourself. You have to be your most divine aligned version of yourself all the time. And that for you, I get that's this or maybe, who knows, right? Because in the very beginning, who are you, right? So maybe that's what you're supposed to find out, is who are you? And the title I asked of your reading was Knowing. So with light and love.